So it's a new day in a new world. And what are we going to do to survive? We've just been left with a note, some water, can of tin food, first aid bandage, which is very nice, and a torch and some random looking block. So how you doing, guys? Welcome, it's Kraken here, and we're going to give you some tips to surviving in the zombie apocalypse. These are in no particular order. I've just started a new world, and I'm going to tell you some of my top tips for helping survive and enjoying 7 Days to Die. So these tips can be for absolutely anybody. Maybe you've played 7 Days to Die in the past. We're playing on Alpha 18.4 at the moment. Maybe you've been away for the game for a while, or maybe you just keep dying and want to learn a few things to help yourself playing out the game. My first tip is to make sure you always do the starting quest, because that's going to give you a couple of skill points to get yourself on the right path, and also going to show you where your first trader is. Now, the first thing you obviously need to do is get yourself some plant fibers. We all know how to do that. It's nice and simple. But we're also going to need wood. These plants here, these little twigs here, will give you 2 wood straight away. So rather than beating on a tree, just knock a few of those twigs out, and that will give you, there's plenty of them here. We've started in the desert biome here. This will give you all the wood you need to get yourself started. So once you've placed your bedroll down, my suggestion is pick it straight back up and put that back onto your hotbar, because where you start is probably not where you're going to stay using the game. So in the beginning of the game, you're going to be wanting to loot a lot of birds' nests. Now you want to loot these up. You got a chance to gain feathers and also some eggs. To get yourself some extra feathers, you can destroy the bird's nest, and that has given us some extra feathers. There's 50% less bird's nests now from Alpha 18 compared to Alpha 17, so breaking up those bird's nests will give you a lot of extra feathers at the beginning of the game. Also, I suggest at the beginning of the game, loot absolutely everything you can, but be very careful about what you're carrying about so you don't get yourself too encumbered. Now, in the beginning of the game, killing animals, giving yourself some food, some bones, some leather, some animal hide is going to be very useful for you. But these little guys here, you want to stay well away from, because these guys will charge at you and you do not have any of the resources yet to kill them off. So the boars, steer well clear from. To get more back from harvesting animals, you want to be using a bone knife rather than just your axe. There are plenty of ways of getting bones when you're out here in the desert. These little skulls here will actually give you bones. That's given us 3. We need 5 to make a bone knife. So that's given us 3. Zombie corpses are quite often found on the roads as well. Hit that up and you've got yourself your extra bones to make your bone knife. Now, staying in the area from which you spawn is a very good idea, because this is a safety zone. So until you've completed your quests, if you don't move out of this area, you're not going to have zombies trying to come and bite you on the bum straight away. So stay in this little safety zone and you're going to be okay to get yourself started. There's all different nodes on the surface of the world. To know more about all the mining, click in the top right hand corner and I have a whole quick video that will teach you all about the mining in 7 Days to Die. So when you've completed your first quests, you're going to be shown where the nearest trader is and also given 4 skill points. My suggestions for the skill points to put one into Lucky Looter, because you want to find the best loot you can straight away. Put one into Fortitude, into Healing Factor, because this will help you gain 1 hit point every 60 seconds. Rule 1 Cardio, because you're going to be doing a lot of running about to begin with and you are not going to get vehicles till later on in the game. And your last point, because the only decent weapon you have is the club, I always put one into Pummel Pete. So welcome to your trader. This is a safe haven. In here, if you keep the doors shut, zombies cannot break into here. Everything in here is protected. As you can see, zombies cannot get into the trader. Unfortunately, you can't spend the night here. The trader shuts just before 10 o'clock and reopens again just after 6 o'clock in the morning. You'll find crafting tools inside the trader, but they don't always work. Sometimes they are destroyed, so always bear that in mind. As you can see here, this forge is destroyed, but it does mean that you can loot it though. Working chemistry station and a destroyed cement mixer. Now, if you find an item that is destroyed like this forge, there is a 25% of when you're looting it, finding the schematic inside it. So unfortunately we didn't this time, but you can also find schematics in bookcases. So the library is a very good place. So there are various different types of traders, but each one of them usually has a lootable area. So it is worth going around the trader and looting whatever you can to then sell back to the trader. Or if you're lucky, you might find yourself a cooking pot, which is one of the most important things you're going to need at the beginning of the game. Now, using the trader is a very important element to the game because he can give you quests which you can use to help gain XP and get you extra dukes to buy yourself other resources that you might need in the game.
You have a great day now.
Thank you very much. Taking quests, you just ask him for any jobs, and this will tell you in which direction and how far away these jobs might be. The buried supplies, you're not going to have very good tools to begin with, but the area that the treasure could be in is now very small. So we're going to consider taking one of those.
Oh, thank you very much.
Also, if you find yourself some lockpicks, you can loot the safes, and sometimes you can also get to the bookcases behind them depending on the trader you're in. Also, if the cash register is closed, you'll be able to loot that and sell it straight back to the trader to get yourself some dukes. Now, you can have trouble with hot and cold temperatures in the game, but for your first 5 levels, when you've got this little symbol down here on the left hand side, you're going to be safe up until level 5, so you're not going to have to worry about overheating in the desert or getting freezing cold in the snow biome until you've hit level 5. Now, you can buy food from the trader, but it's more expensive to buy food in here than it is from the vending machine, which restocks every single day. So you're much better off buying food from the vending machine. So sell your stuff to him, get your dukes, and then buy your food from here. Now, climbing on top of a mountain will give you a good idea of what you have around you. Having a base somewhere close to the trader is usually a very good idea, especially for the beginning of the game, but be careful about where you pick. You don't want to start in a big factory like this to get yourself started. Bones are going to be used a lot in the game to make yourself glue. Now, glue is going to be mixed with cloth, and that is going to make you duct tape. And now nearly everything in the game is built and held together with duct tape. So keeping hold of bones is a very good thing to do. When you get close to locating your treasure, the treasure chest on your mini map at the top is going to start bouncing like that. If you go onto your map and zoom in, you can make sure that you're directly on top of the treasure chest. And if you've put a point into Lucky Looter at the beginning of the game, this will actually give you a smaller area in which the loot can be in. So you can dig down and find yourself the loot really quickly and get yourself some free XP and some free easy dukes. When you find your buried treasure, make sure that you have a nice easy way to get out, because this will spawn zombies in that are going to want and come and eat your brains. So you want a GTFO as fast as you can. Schematics are very useful in the game and they teach you how to craft certain items. When this book is closed, it means you haven't already read them. If this book is open, you have, and sometimes it's worth selling this straight back to the trader. But all you need to do is read it, and that will teach you how to craft that particular item. This little button up here will automatically sort your inventory straight back out for you. Now, military bases are surrounded by landmines that look like hubcaps. Be very careful around these because that could be you. If you can, try and avoid the wasteland as much as possible. You will find landmines out on here, so try and stick to the roads. There are a lot of zombie bears, zombie dogs, and a lot of things out here like vultures that want to eat you. There we go. There's a landmine straight away. This is a very dangerous place to be. If you get hit by a zombie, you have a good chance of getting infected. Now, you have three main ways of curing this infection: taking some honey, some herbal antibiotics, or some normal antibiotics. Each one has a different level of cureness. To find yourself some honey in the early game, you'll find these tree stumps, and they have a very good chance of dropping honey for you. So if you see some of these out in the wild, it's worth chopping those up and getting yourself some honey. This will give you a cure infection rate of up to 5%. So as long as you drink this before your infection gets to 5%, you're going to be safe and sound and live to fight another day. Now in the game you do have a chance of breaking or spraining your leg. This will impede your movement for a very long time. A way to solve this is to craft yourself a wooden splint. As you can see, like we said before, everything in the game is made with duct tape. Vultures will infect you and they will come after you if your hit points have gone below 100%. So as you can see, we have a 0.3% here of infection, so we can now use our honey and that will cure our infection. Now in the burnt forest biome, you've got a very good chance of seeing plenty of these wrecked buildings out here. There's loads of them about. Now some of these have cookers in, which is a very good way of trying to get yourself a cooking pot at the beginning of the game. And some of these, like this one here, has a sofa. Now if you have a sofa, you can do something called nerd polling, which is grabbing yourself one of the frames and then literally jumping and placing a frame down quickly. Now if we do this up here, we can see that there's a water bottle here, and these water bottles give you a chance of getting yourself mineral water. So we've got 3 mineral water now, which is very good for us. Very good for your stamina regeneration, and you can't get dysentery from this water, which is also very useful. And if we just jump ourselves over, we also have a medical supply. So everyone with a sofa will have these 2 items above them, and there we go, we've got ourselves a first aid kit, which is also very, very useful to us. And then we can just pick our frames back up and they'll go back onto our tool belt and we can carry on our merry little way. Now if you get hit by a zombie, you have a good chance of making yourself bleed. The only way you can stop the bleeding is by taking healing items. The best healing items at the beginning of the game is going to be to use bandages, and for that you're going to need cloth. Taking apart these tents will give you cloth straight away, and from the cloth fragments here, go to recipes and make yourself some bandages to stop yourself from bleeding. You can also hit these cotton plants and these can be converted into, check the recipes, into cloth fragments. So that is another way of doing it. Now, other resources that are easy to get in the game are by looting gas barrels like that to give you gas. And if you get your shovel, you can get cement from here, which you can turn into concrete mix if you have stone, sand, and also a cement mixer. And this will give you cobblestone for making yourself flagstone blocks. So here we go, guys, back at the trader. I wanted to show you quickly what happens when you have one of the rewards. So we've dug up this treasure just to quickly show you, so we can talk to him, and straight away he will offer you some extra items here. And you can see we're going to gain 2,500 XP and 560 Duke casinos. Now, if your inventory is totally full, you don't want to be taking one of these rewards, because you could end up accidentally dropping the reward, and I've seen people do that and it's fallen behind the counter or you can't get it. So you can actually just press escape and go back into this and maybe just sell him some stuff, or come out of the menu totally and not accept that reward. Now, we're going to quickly take the first aid bandages, have a quick look at his inventory, because one thing I didn't mention earlier on is about these books. So these books give you different advantages up here. So you can buy these books, you can find them in bookshelves, and if we look into our own perks, if you go into the books at the end here, if you collect all 7 of these, all 7 books, then you get a bonus reward at the end, and these ones are very good. So especially when you look at things like batter up, power attacks that kill your enemy, refill your stamina meter right to the top. Art of mining, 20% chance of one-shotting any ore, so that would really help your mining in the game. So keep an eye out for these books, they can really help. I hope these tips will help you get yourself started on the journey of 7 Days to Die, or refresh your memory back in the new alpha. I do have a dummies guide, beginner's guide to 7 Days to Die, which is a full series where we go into a lot more depth about everything else. I'll put a link to that in the description, and it'll be in the top right hand corner at the moment. If you've enjoyed the video and you think it's going to help you, please click on that thumbs up button. If you've got any other comments or any other tips that could help out new players, please put them down in the comments below. And also consider hitting that subscribe button if you want to see more 7 Days to Die content. So that's all from me, guys, and I'll see you later. Take it easy.